Hey guys, Miss Wainwright here. We are getting ready to write some great stories this week. And I know you guys, after watching the videos on brainstorming and planning, you're probably thinking, wow, I got a lot of work cut out for me. But really, we're going to break it down each day into small little pieces. And then at the end of the week, you're going to have a fantastic narrative story to share with your friends and your teachers and your families. So I have a book called The Best Story because, now we were all thinking about, okay, I got to do some brainstorming. I got to think about what's going to be a good story, and I got to start planning out what I'm going to tell in my stories. This is a cute little book. It's called The Best Story, and it's written by Eileen Spinelli, and the illustrations are by Anne Wilsdorf. Okay, so our sweet little character went to the library with her family, okay? And while they're at the library, look what she sees. She sees this huge poster, and it says, "The Red Brick Library Contest. Write the best story and win first prize. A ride on the super duper looper roller coaster with Anne Miles, an author. She wrote The Runaway Roller Coaster." The Red Brick Library was having a contest. Write the best story, win first prize. First prize was a ride on the super duper looper roller coaster with my favorite author, Anne Miles, who wrote The Runaway Roller Coaster. Wow! First prizes don't get any better than that. And isn't she cute? And doesn't she kind of look like she's probably a first grader? She looks like a first grader to me. I ran home, went to my room, shut the door. I sharpened 5 pencils, opened my notebook to a brand new page, and thought and thought and thought. And all I could think was, this writing stuff was hard and lonely. Maybe I needed help. I told my brother Tim about the contest. "The best stories," said my brother Tim, "have lots of action." So I wrote a lot of action into my story. I wrote about a bus hurtling down the highway with no one at the wheel. I added a tornado and a pirate and a great white shark. But the story didn't seem quite right. So I asked my dad, and he said the best stories have plenty of humor. So I changed the great white shark to a monkey, and I put the monkey at the wheel of the bus, and I turned the tornado into turnips, and I dressed the pirate in polka dotted pajamas. Ha ha, that's kind of funny, isn't it? Dad laughed so hard, he popped a shirt button. Even so, this story didn't feel quite right either. Sometimes it's hard to come up with an idea to write a story. Along came Aunt Jane. "What are you doing?" she asked. "I'm writing a story, the best story, for a contest at the library. I can win a roller coaster ride with my favorite author." "Oh, well then," said Aunt Jane, "here's all you need to know. The best stories are the ones that make people cry." Ugh, I don't know about that. So I gave the bus a flat tire. I sent the monkey to the funeral of his pet goldfish. I turned the turnips into onions, because onions make you cry. And I made the pirate chop everyone. There were lots of tears, but the story still wasn't right. Bless it. And she's working so hard. My teenage cousin Annika said, "I have news for you. If it's not romantic, it's a loser." She must be a teenager. So, the pirate introduced the monkey to his sister Grace, and they fell in love. And I turned the onions into wedding invitations, and everyone lived happily ever after. Finally, my story was ready. So I read it to my family. Not enough action, said my brother Tim. Maybe the monkey can fall into the wedding cake, said Dad. That would really be funny. It's hard to cry at a wedding when the groom is a monkey, said Aunt Jane. Annika said it would be perfect if I added a kiss. In all this time, my mother hadn't said a word. So I asked her, what do you think is the best story? She gave me a hug. I think the best story is one that comes from the heart, your own heart. That night, after supper, I looked into my own heart and rewrote my story. No more monkey, no more pirate, no more wedding invitations, no more happily ever after. My new best story is about my family and my two best friends, Tara and Josh. It's about my cat Ollie, who sleeps on his back, and snow days and toast with strawberry jam. It's about fireworks and rainbows and bike rides. My biggest problem was keeping the story short. Once I started pulling things out of my heart, it was hard to stop. When my story was finished, I turned it into the judges. She looks very proud of her story. Maybe I'll win that roller coaster ride with Ann Miles, and maybe I won't. Either way, I'll be happy. I'll be a winner because the story I wrote is my own, not somebody else's. And that makes it the best. I love this book because it just gets us off to a great start for writing a story, guys. And today, you're going to be doing a brainstorming sheet, and I'm going to flip my camera around right here because we're going to get started on this brainstorming sheet together, guys. This brainstorming sheet is actually a Google Doc in your teacher's classroom that you'll be able to access when you're finished with Miss Wainwright. And I just thought that I would go ahead and help you get started on it because sometimes it's just hard to brainstorm stuff. And on your sheet, there's a place for 4 story ideas. And I'm going to do the first 2 with you. And if you want to use the ideas that Miss Wainwright comes up with, you can do that. Or if you want to do 4 brand new ideas of your own, you can also do that because remember, the best story comes from your heart, what you love and what you are passionate about. And that's what is the easiest to write about, okay? So knowing that and thinking about that, I know that my very first idea is going to be to write about the beach because the beach is like my favorite place in the whole world. So in this first big thought bubble, I'm going to write beach, okay? And then to just help us go ahead and plan while we're doing our brainstorming, I'm just going to write down some ideas, okay, of things I can write about the beach, okay? And so I'm going to put, of course, the waves, okay? Because I can write like all day just about getting in those waves and floating and swimming and going out really far where the water just bounces you up and down and just kind of holds you. I love the waves. Can you tell? So waves. Another thing would have to be reading a good book because I love reading a book on the beach. It's like just the perfect place to sit out there in the sunshine and hear the waves rolling in and reading a good book. And another thing would be sand castles. I love building sand castles on the beach. I also like taking walks on the beach, and I love eating good seafood at the beach, and I love being with my family at the beach. And so there's lots of things you can write about the beach, right? Okay, so the other thing, now I got to come up with another idea. What is something else that Miss Wainwright really loves that's a huge part of my heart? That would be a really easy story for me to write. What do you think? What would be a really good story, something that you could write about? Write about your family? Yeah. I think that's a good idea. I think that's what I'm going to put. I'm going to put family and details about my writing. If I'm writing about my family, I'm going to write about my husband. And I would tell you all about him. And then I would write about my children and my grandchildren. Okay, because Miss Wainwright has 3 granddaughters, and I have 4 children, 2 boys and 2 girls, and my husband. And so I could just write all kinds of stuff just about them and their lives, and I could just write a really long, like, autobiography of our lives, I guess. It would be great. So now, guys, you're just going to head on over to your teacher's Google Classroom, and you can pause this so that you've got some ideas. So if you were writing about your family, of course, you might be writing about your mom and dad, your sisters, brothers, grandparents. You might want to write about friends. You might want to write about going to the park. You might want to write about the whole experience of doing classroom to cloud learning, guys. I know that you're going to have lots and lots and lots of great ideas in your heart that you can put on paper. And I so look forward to seeing your work. Tomorrow, Miss Seeley is going to talk to you about how to have that perfect introductory sentence, because that introductory sentence hooks people and it makes them say, wow, I want to read this story because it's really starting out good. So I'm so glad I got to read a book with you guys today and talk about brainstorming and planning a great narrative story. And I hope you guys have a fabulous day. I love you. See you next time.